Okay, welcome everyone. This is the final session in our webinar series for the year. My name's Alistair and I'll be presenting today's session. So today we'll be taking a look at some of the funding options available and what the referral processes would be for those. And later we'll be joined by Ewan from our friends at UMPS to take a look at what they can offer clients. And we'll be concluding today with some time for a Q&A. So if you do have any questions as we go, please feel free to use the feature at the top of your Teams window there, and we'll do our best to answer at the end. So to cover off on who we are, Tunstall is a pioneer in communications and care technology. We were first established in 1957 in the north of England, and have since grown into a global company from there. Our monitoring centres in Australia and New Zealand have been operating since about 2001 and 2002 respectively. We work closely with our counterparts around the world. We're sharing ideas and technology to make sure we deliver the very best for our clients. Now, to quickly touch on why we do what we do, we have our vision and mission there. So our vision's all about freedom and choice. It's enabled by technology and services designed for individual needs. We work closely with individuals and care providers, like many of you today, to find the right solutions that are more efficient and effective for people living independently in the community. So onto the topic for today. First, we'll look at some of the key funding options which may be available for clients. Most of you are probably quite familiar with these programs, so we'll focus on our role within those. So firstly, NDIS. So Tunstall's been a registered provider with the NDIS since about 2017, and we can offer all our products and services to NDIS participants as part of their plans. We'll work with participants and their support networks to help align what we can offer to their goals and daily needs. The Commonwealth Home Support Program, or CHSP, is where we typically work alongside care providers to help their clients access personal alarms and monitoring. Now, what was home care packages, now support at home, is a little more conditional, but we can still work with care providers to find solutions on a case-by-case basis. And through Geek2Go, approved requesters can access product information and advice. They can compare different items available and place orders directly through the platform. There is clinical advice and resources also available for assessment teams, occupational therapists, physiotherapists, and other allied health professionals to help them identify the best solutions for their clients. Now, Tunstall are a recently approved supply partner for Geek2Go, so we can now provide the Gem 4 mobile personal alarm with two monitoring options, either the 24/7 monitoring by our team or monitored by the client's own designated contacts. Finally, support at home. That's the new funding model for aged care. So after the initial delays, that's now in place. The process on our side of things isn't too different to the prior HCP model. We'll be seeing how the CHSP also transitions into that program by mid-2027. We expect, again, some initial speed bumps, let's say, but we hope that, overall helps improve things for clients and we can get things in place sooner and more suited to the client's needs. So onto the referral pathways and how we can onboard clients via the various funding models. So the NDIS, within that, generally the first steps are an initial contact from either the participant themselves or a representative, which can start with a quote request for a specific device, or perhaps just a general inquiry. Our team can then use that, get that together for the client for approval, or for, we'll come back with further discussions if we need to refine things or tailor anything further to make sure that the solutions we offer are the best fit. Now, once the quote is approved, we can get a formal service agreement together. And as soon as that's signed off, we can work towards installation and activation of any new personal alarms or other devices. Now, throughout the process, our team will work closely with the participant and their support network. We can offer assistance and tips for successful referrals and approvals to ensure that we can get the best solutions in place as soon as possible. Now, for these programs, the first step is always going to be the My Aged Care process and various steps involved there. Once the client has their relevant care provider chosen, we can work with them to put together a monitored personal alarm package that suits their needs and available funding. Gear to Go is a little more direct, where approved requesters can place orders on behalf of their clients. Those approved requesters will just need to search the platform for Tunstall and or Gem4 for the mobile personal alarm that's available there. Right, I think that's about it for that. Obviously, any questions you have, feel free to let us know, but I'll hand over to Ewan now, and he can take us through what Umscan provides. They're a great partner of ours that we work with closely. And over to you, Ewan.
Thank you very much. I'm Ewan. I work for UMPS, essentially with clinicians directly to help find the right alarm for people. We partner with Tunstall for our UMPS Link home alarm. So I'll run you through just briefly kind of what that looks like and how that works. I'm sure you're all familiar with like the differences fundamentally of like home alarms versus mobile alarms. But there's a few different things that we've got, or a few sort of features that are slightly different that we hope tackle some of the issues around personal alarms. If we can jump to the next slide, please. Thank you. So the UpsLink, fundamentally, there's like the base unit, which you can see in the image there. We've tried to design that to look a bit nicer than sort of like a really, really medical looking device in somebody's home. The key kind of use case that we find the home alarms come in handy for is essentially when there's just a risk is at home, or if there is perhaps like cognitive decline, challenges with users, like clients charging devices. It's obviously not something they've grown up with their whole lives. So with the home alarm, you've got the base unit there, and that just plugs into like your standard socket in the wall that stays connected, and it just kind of operates similar to how like your Wi-Fi would at home. That box just stays put. You can kind of leave that there and not worry about it too much. The image you can see with like the light, the sort of light ring around it is how they work is when an alert is raised, all the communication is through that base unit there. So they're really, really loud. We don't do live demos of them on like video calls because audio just gets cut. It's obviously designed for users to be able to hear it and be heard across different rooms in their house. So it doesn't have to be right next to them. They can be a few rooms away, and the audio should be loud enough that they can still hear it. The light part, it syncs with the audio that plays out. So if you've got somebody that maybe does have like a hearing impairment, they can like still see that there is something happening and the audio is playing, so they kind of know what's going on. When that alert is raised, you'll see on the bottom left there is a button that's just a flashing it's across. When alerts are active, it flashes up red. So you do have like a cancellation window. If you do accidentally set off an alert and want to cancel it, you can absolutely do that. The probably main cause for our main question we get about the home alarm, the UMPS link, is regarding connectivity. So they do operate using a 4G SIM card, as it says there. But if you've got clients where mobile signal is quite poor or is a little bit inconsistent, we can provide like an antenna which just screws into the back of the base unit. That helps to boost mobile signal. Alternatively, they can be connected through Wi-Fi. So either Wi-Fi or mobile signal will be operating the alarm, allowing it to function and make sure that your client is actually being looked after. It doesn't come up too often as well, but they do have 40 hours battery life. If you have a power cut, the alarm should still operate for 40 hours. Once the power's back on, it just recharges itself, just in case it needs to happen again. Like I say, it's depending where you are in the country, that is more common or less common. We find it's a bit more useful up in Queensland, but the base units are quite straightforward, easy to install. It's just the one plug socket and one wire, so they're pretty easy. If we can jump to the next slide, please. Thank you. What you can see there is the wearable, so that's just the button. They come either on a pendant or in a wristband, so it comes in like a little casing with the wristband attached. As it says there, I think that the main thing is their size, obviously being sort of slimmer, shorter, and obviously a lot lighter, only 14 grams. It can be really handy for people that are particularly frail or just don't like the feel of having something around their neck or on their wrist that's a bit weightier. So that's the kind of first sort of hurdle often we find with personal alarms is just the look and feel of it. So these can be a bit better to overcome that barrier. And as I referenced it earlier, these don't need any charging. So they last 2 to 4 years and then they just need replacing. So if you've got clients that aren't reliable with their charging habits, no matter how much you try, like they can still be a viable option and really, really straightforward to use. As it says there, they've got a range of 100 meters from the hub. So it's got the average size home and garden in mind when we were designing it. Generally, that's pretty consistent. There's certain house materials that can impact it a little bit, but it's not too bad. We just recommend a test call when you arrive or when it arrives, and you can just see sort of where it works well, where it's a little bit shakier. The buttons themselves are waterproof, so we would recommend to be worn in the shower. They are a manual press, so the darker grey part, if that's held down for a couple of seconds, that's what raises the alert. And then from there, it obviously raises the alert through the hub. The hub will then contact whichever monitoring option that has been selected. You can have multiple buttons connected to any one hub. It's up to 20. It's not often people have quite that many, but you can have multiple buttons placed around the home in like a wall casing. Or if you've got like a couple, then yeah, they can have one base unit and a couple different pendants, and it's super, super easy. Um, it's kind of the brief run through of the home alarm. I think as clinicians and care providers, you're probably pretty aware of when they're best suited. But yeah, from a feature perspective, the no charging, the size and the weight, and the issues around tackling like mobile signal is probably where there's the most use for them. So yeah, that's I think that's all the slides for umps, if I'm correct.
Yeah, no, thank you for that, Ewan. Yeah, I mean, we can proceed on to the Q&A now. So yeah, if anyone did have any questions, feel free to post them up. It's the little Q&A button on the top of your window there, and you can just post your questions there. Give you a little minute to compose anything if you like. Probably some other things to cover off from our side. I should mention we are also part of the Department of Veterans Affairs Rehabilitation Appliance Program, if I'm getting my acronyms correct, DVA RAP. So that's for any gold or eligible white card holders. There's a specific process there for alarm referrals. And for more information on that, you can just check out our dedicated DVA page under referrals on our website. Other things to cover off. Oh, should also mention we can also offer a private pay option if that's needed, and then which that can be transitioned over into a funded model once any funding does become available. If there's a short-term need there, there's rental, purchase, or other offers that may be available depending on the product type and general timing. No other questions that I can see at this time. Ewan, is there any other features or general information from UMP side that you'd want to address?
I think we hit the main ones there. I mean, like I said, my role is to support any questions. So if anyone does, let me know, and then yeah, you can get it through whichever channel you choose. But yeah, also I think that's kind of it from us with the umps link.
No. Yeah, that's all good. Yeah, well, if there's no other questions for now, you can feel free to reach our team anytime on that number or email below. We'll certainly be happy to assist. UMP's team as well, they'll be available for any questions specific to UMPs. So I don't have that available on hand, but umps.com will send you in the right direction. If I can Google quickly enough. 1300 907 272 looks to be the best contact number there. But yeah, again, Ewan, if you've got any more specific instructions there, but yeah, that should.
I agree. That's the best place to start, and then you can you'll get directed to wherever you need to go.
yeah. Any of our teams, you can just start with a very general question, and we can work with you to develop the best solution for your clients. That's why we're all here. Alrighty, well, I guess we can leave it there for now. So yeah, thanks again for joining us today, and hope you enjoy the holidays, and we'll probably see you again in the new year. Thanks, everyone.